Hi, I'm Elaine Farrell and I wanted to tell you about some bad Bridgets. So bad Bridgets were Irish women who migrated to North America, and while they were there they were considered deviant, or they committed crimes and ended up in courts and prison. So the crimes that they committed range from drunkenness to theft to kidnapping to serial killing, quite a variety of offences. So you probably have heard about Irish migrants who became domestic servants. One of our domestic servants, she was fired from her position in the 1880s. That wasn't really all that unusual, but she retaliated. So she came back to work the next day. She took an original oil painting from the wall that had been on loan from a dealer, and she stabbed it with her umbrella and with the heel of her shoe. Another bad Bridget, in 1841, Mary Burns, she was found drunk on a bottle of rum less than 24 hours after she had been hired by the family in Boston. Some of the stories are really quite tragic. So Rosie Quinn, a young woman in New York in 1903, was sentenced to life in prison for having thrown her 9-day-old baby into a reservoir in Central Park. Thinking about the motives for that crime, she was unmarried at a time when there was a really strong stigma attached to giving birth outside marriage. The father absolutely nowhere to be seen, and he's not named in any of the records that we have looked at. She worked as a maid in a Fifth Avenue hotel, so she wouldn't really have had any savings or had all that much money to be able to raise a child. She travelled to New York alone, so she would have lacked the family care, the networks, people who might have helped her to raise her baby. So she was sentenced to life, but her case actually attracted a lot of attention. She got quite a lot of sympathy from the public, from the press, and some of her colleagues at the hotel in New York actually raised up a petition, and they were able to get her released a year after her conviction. Other women then, their criminal careers spanned decades. One of our bad Bridgets, Margaret Brown, she is committing crimes across more than 50 years and across 5 or 6 different states. So she was known as Old Mother Hubbard because she wore this cloak. It had lots of little pockets on the inside, and she'd go into department stores, sidle up to shoppers and admire their purchases. While she's doing that, she dips her hands into their purses or into their pockets and takes their valuables and tucks them away in that cloak of hers. Even into her 70s, into her 80s, she's been identified in the US as one of the most notorious criminals. So she probably was motivated by economic need to begin with, but I think as the decades went on, it was, I suppose, all she knew how to do. So we have thousands and thousands of bad Bridgets, and you can probably guess from those examples that I've given that we have quite a range of crimes and quite a range of personalities as well. But I think if we take the cases together, we can really see the complexities of the migration story and the diversity of all the different individual bad Bridget stories.